What's up, guys? Welcome back. We have a really cool video today. I have been looking forward to this one for months. I'm going to be showing you guys how to build my custom Lego Xenomorph. I designed this Xenomorph last year, around the time that the Alien was added to Dead by Daylight as a playable killer. So it kind of reinvigorated my obsession with the movie Alien and the creature itself. And I mean, as anyone should know, it's just a perfect monster design. And I've tried over a lot of different iterations ever since I was like a little kid to make different Lego versions of it, but it's challenging. I've always wanted to have a minifigure scale version, and obviously this is a little bit larger, much larger, honestly, than minifigure scale, but it's really as close as I've been able to get while still having everything that I would consider to be essential details of the character and of the design. So I'm super happy with this, the way this has come out, and I hope that other folks feel the same way. I hope people enjoy this. I'm hoping maybe some folks will want to build this at home. It's actually a really simple build. It's less than 100 pieces. It comes together really fast. And I don't really consider any of the parts in here to be, anything too rare or hard to get your hands on. It's a lot of little pieces. And I honestly think a majority of the parts in this are things that I have just as like extra pieces from larger sets that I still have assembled. Okay, so before we begin, this is all the pieces that you will need for the build. As I said, it's, not a lot of parts. A little under 100 pieces here. Obviously, mostly black. We have three other parts that are different colors. We have these two transparent clear little wedge tiles and this one silver stud right here. So, let's get into it. I'm going to be using my own homemade instructions for this build. I used the Bricklink Designer app to recreate this build and then make some instructions that everyone can follow to build their own Xenomorph at home. So we'll be following along with those as I go. And this is going to be a little rambly. I'm just going to explain, some of the design choices and ideas that I had along the way. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with the hips of the Xenomorph. And I like having one of these, this is like the classic snot piece in Lego, and these always make me think of classic space sets. So just with like a 70s sci-fi movie, feels very fitting to be using this piece as a really central part of the model. So we're starting here with the hips. And as I mentioned, I originally designed this Alien when they first added the Xenomorph to Dead by Daylight. So that was that version of the character is kind of my main reference for this model. I was using the in-game lobby to check out that model of the Xenomorph. And that's what I kind of based this off of. And then we have there's two bars in this build, a 4 long and a 3 long. So we're going to use a 4 long bar that goes through this hip section here. And that's what our legs are going to attach to once we build those. And just like that. That is our hip section of the Xenomorph complete. So we're going to set that off to the side and move on to the torso. Starting off, one of my favorite things to do, I love when you can take a headlight brick and then put another snot brick into it sideways so that the snot brick and the stud on top of the headlight brick line up. So that's going to be the basis of our torso here. And we're going to take one of these modified plates with the bar holder there, like so, and this 1x1 modified plate with clip to attach there. So that's what we got so far. Now we're going to bring in our next bar, our 3-long bar, and this is what our arms, well, this is going to be the basis of the shoulder blades, kind of the Xenomorph, to sort of build out the torso. So this is just going to go right through the middle, nice and even there. Take one of these modified plates, attach here. This is going to be the base of our neck. Then this single 1x2 rounded slope. This is the only one in the whole build. That's gonna round off the chest of the Xenomorph, and you can see the body taking shape here. As I said, these are gonna, either side of that bar is gonna fill in our chest and shoulders a little bit more. The clip in the back here helps to hold the tail on, makes sort of the spine shape, and then our nice rounded chest in the front, and then that bar there will clip onto our hips when we get to that point. We're going to take 2 of these modified 1x1 round plates with the 1 long bar coming off of it, and those are going to attach to either side of this snot stud here on this modified 1x1. And then those will be capped off with this 1x2 rounded plate that has the holes in the studs there. So the holes, the studs, will go right over top of those bars. You're not going to push them all the way down like this. You're going to lift them up just so that those bars are at the height of the studs, because then we're going to cap that neck off with a 1x2 jumper plate there. So that's going to be our neck. I'm not quite done with the torso yet, though. We're going to move on to the shoulder parts. So we'll do a mini sub-assembly here. We're going to take 2 of these 2x2 rounded plates, take a 1x1 round plate with a hole in it, put it over top in the very middle to get this little, kind of landmine looking thing. And then that is going to go right on this bar, right here. So that hole is going to go right over that bar. And the stud connects, and then your bar should not protrude out past the stud there. And we're just going to do that on both sides. So again, another 2x2 round plate, 1x1 round plate with the hole in it in the middle, and right over our bar there. So that's the main bulk of our torso here. All right. Last little sub-assembly for the torso. I'm going to take a binoculars, pair of black binoculars, and then these kind of longer black tentacle / cow horn pieces. These are like venom tentacles. I would imagine they probably come in a number of other venom related sets, so there shouldn't be any shortage of them. I think you could probably find these in lots of different sets though, lots of Spider-Man things. So, the top of our 4-way snot brick that's in the core of our torso here, that is just going to be the point at which we connect our binoculars, like so. And that's our torso. Oh, I totally skipped 2 pieces here on the torso. Let's roll it back to the torso real quick. We're taking a 1x1 modified plate with the horizontal clip, placing that behind that other clip there. And then we're going to take our singular 1x1 black cheese slope and put that on top of there like that. And that is going to be where we connect our torso. So that clip into that bar there. And there's our shape of our torso. So he's in kind of a permanently hunched forward position. You can't really, I mean, you could take out that cheese slope and stand him more upright, but he's designed to stand hunched over in sort of a hunting pose. So that's our torso and our hips. We're going to set this guy off to the side. Now comes the symmetrical repeat building part. And we're going to do the legs. I'm going to take another one of these 1x2 modified plates with a bar holder on it. And this 1x3 rounded slope. Attach them like so. And then they are going to be locked in together from underneath. I'm going to add this modified 1x1 plate to the underside here. That's how we're going to attach this to the hips. And then we're going to take these inverted 1x2 rounded slopes. You need 2 of these for the build. They hold the legs together, like so. And then you have this nice beefy thigh. Set that aside, move on to the lower leg. I'm going to take one of our Exoforce robot hands, a 1x1 rounded plate with a hole in it. You guessed it, we're putting the robot hand in the hole. Then we're going to take our Exoforce robot arm. There's 4 of these in black in this build. And we are going to place the hand in the arm with a little bit of an extension there. And then these 1x1 modified rounded plates with the bar on them, those are our feet. And they go together like so. This is a bit of an extra part, if you have it. Not super essential, but if you want to take one of these 1x1 modified tiles with the half bar sticking out of the top, what I've done with these is I use these to fill this gap in the side of the Exoforce arm. Just gives it a little more texture and then fills that empty space, because that empty space just doesn't look quite right to me. So, makes it like a little beefy there, but I think it's fine. I think it looks cool. And then we're going to connect our thigh to our foot, like so. And there's our leg. One of the things that I think is really striking about the Xenomorph is just the impossible thinness of it. So that's something I really tried to get across with this build. So these legs are only 1 brick wide. And most of the body is as well. If you take a look at the torso from the front, it's really quite thin. And that was a big objective of mine. So these bars on the sides of the hips just go into these holes on the legs. There's one leg. So aside from this little part that I pointed out earlier, the legs are identical. So we'll skip over building that and move on to the arms. Okay, here's our right leg. Like I said, identical aside for that little around 1x1 plate there. So we will attach this. There are our legs. You can really see he's coming together here. I think the limbs do a lot of work with this build. So let's move on to the arms. We're going to start off. The Xenomorph has these sort of big round like shoulder pads at the tops of his arms. So we're going to start that shape off with these 2x2 rounded plates, and then it will attach with one of these like so, and then we're going to cover up those studs with these little pizza slice tiles. Make that nice and smooth. You know, again, with the design of the Xenomorph, it is very smooth in certain places, and you want it to look... I think I've tried to use exposed studs in certain spots to give it detail, but you want the smoothness just as much in other places. So that's the start of our arm. Then we're going to take our Exoforce robot arm, one of these, attach it through that bar like so. Set that aside for a minute. Now we're going to build the lower arm. So we're going to start kind of at the wrist with another one of these modified 1x1 round plates, attaching a black lightsaber hilt to that, just like that. And then we'll take one of these round 1x1s with the half bar on it, attach that to the top of our lightsaber handle, and then one of these 1x1 round plates with the little handle on top. And these also come from Venom. So these are those sort of Spider-Man web holding attachments. And this was really one of my kind of source parts for the build, and one of my kind of eureka moments. The new spider piece. I thought they just made for a perfect, creepy, big creepy alien hand. So those just go right on top of that stud there, and that makes your alien hand. So that attaches just like so to the arm, and then you know, not full articulation at the elbow here. That's one of the biggest limiters, but you get a little bit of extra movement there by moving that plate around, and then full you know, wrist rotation, which is nice. You can get some different poses like that. I like to have it sideways, makes it look the most like a hand. But that's our arm. So again, basically identical for the left and right arms. So I will skip over building the other arm, and we'll just jump to having them attached. Here's our right arm for the Xenomorph, all completed. The spiders were really a big inspiration for me. I really love those hands, and I think it's fitting to use such a creepy, scary little Lego piece for this scary monster. So let's attach these arms. So back to our torso, we have those studs right in the middle there on either side. What you want to do is you want to line up the stud where the arm connects to that stud on the torso, so that the shoulder blade piece is sort of offset from the rest of the chest, like so. And again, to get that Dead by Daylight Xenomorph look, we're going to arch the elbows way back like that and bring the hands down. So we'll do that on both sides. Again, lining up that stud right there with the stud, with the anti-stud underneath where the arm connects to the shoulder blade. And there's your pose. I mean, you can already see it there. It's just a really striking action pose. You do not want to see this thing coming at you down a dark hallway. So let's set him to the side. The head is probably, it's always the challenging part. The head of the Xenomorph is so important to the design, and it's really hard to get small, round shapes like that in Lego, and still get the detail of the Xenomorph across. So it took me a while to kind of accept that mine was not going to be round and it was going to look Lego-y. But I've really grown to love that design. So we're going to start with this 1x2 snot brick. This has 2 studs on both sides. Very important. 2 studs on both sides of this snot brick. We're going to take a 1x2 plate, attach it to one stud on the snot brick. Then our other 1x2 plate we'll attach underneath that one. You want it with a shape like this. These are, again, you know, like the spider hands, a crucial part that I had to settle on, and I'm really happy with the final look for this head. But as I mentioned, it took me a bit to say, okay, I'm not going to get perfectly round shapes on this head, but I'm going to get it as round as I can. I think this Xenomorph kind of looks like if a facehugger got on like a little mini land figure, like you would see at Legoland. Those really blocky, brick-built characters. That's what this guy looks like to me. Another very simple part, regular 1x2 black brick. That's going to make up the front of the head. That's going to go right in front of that 1x2 snot brick. Then we're going to flip it upside down. We're going to take 1x1 plate, put it underneath the snot brick behind the 1x2 brick, and then we're going to take this 1x4 inverted round slope, attach that there, and now you can really see the shape of the head completely. We're just going to fill in the sides. So we'll start with this side. You take 2x2 corner tile, and if you look at the underside and you look at the anti-studs, you can see those little knobs there. That knob you're going to put through that hole on your snot brick. Okay, so it's, you see it's off center with that stud. And then, make sure that's straight up. You can take a 1x4 tile and place that on the other stud, covering that gap there. And there's the dome of the Xenomorph head. We're going to flip that over, do the same thing on this side. Corner tile, and 1x4 tile. So there's the bulk of our head. As you can see over here, not a lot of parts left. I'm going to set that head to the side, move on to the jaw. So, 2x2 rounded inverted plate that is smooth on the underside. One of those sort of boat underside pieces. Flip that over. We're going to take our 1x1 tile and place that just in one of the corners, like so. Then we're going to take our silver 1x1 stud, place that caddy corner to the 1x1 tile on the jaw, and then our transparent pizza slices there. Those are going to go on either side of the teeth, just to make that impression of drool. Then, to attach that, obviously we only have the one stud here, so that is going to go right under the very front of the Xenomorph head at an angle, so that the middle of the jaw lines up with the head. And there's our alien head. We go back to our body. That then attaches right onto this jumper plate here, just behind the bulk of the head, like so. And there's our alien. Obviously, one last big important part is missing. Black Spider-Man web. That is our tail. Very simple build for the tip of the tail. We're going to take one of these round 1x1 plates with a half bar on it. Little bar clip. Attach that. And then take a little black Viking horn. Put that in the hole of the clip there. That's our little tail prong. That attaches to one side of the Black Spider-Man web. The tail then attaches right there on that stud in the very center of the Xenomorph's back. So you're going to put your one stud from the rope on there. Make sure it's pointed downwards. And then this series of clips here that kind of make this spine shape going down the back of the alien, you're just going to clip the little handles of the rope in there where you can. Kind of bunches it up a little bit. But you just clip those in where they fit, and then the bottom Exoforce robot hand there just sort of holds the rope in alignment. It doesn't need to hold one of the handles. And there we go. That's it. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this build. I still wish I could figure out a good minifig scale Xenomorph, but I'm really happy with this as like a display model. I think it really captures the essence of the Xenomorph well. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments if you're going to build this yourself. I would love to see pictures, and if anyone else has any ideas of how to modify this and make it better, I would be so happy to see that. One of the things I really wrestled with was getting more tubes coming out of his back. The real alien has many more tubes, I think about 6 or maybe even 8 tubes of various sizes coming out of his back, but I just couldn't find a way to fit those in without compromising the rest of the choices I'd made in the build. So that's something that, if someone can figure that out, a cool way to add more back tubes, make it a little more realistic and authentic to the creature, but I'm super happy with this. So again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more build tutorials, and let me know what else you're interested in seeing from my collection. I have a pretty sizable LEGO collection of minifigures and sets and parts, so if you're curious to see more, let me know what you'd like to see.